Different jobs have different levels of importance. I think you would agree with that, right? That's a fairly simple statement, but I think you would agree with it. We'll get to Joe Biden in a moment, but different jobs have different levels of importance. For instance, a carnival, the fair. You've been to one before. The guy making the funnel cakes. Now, let's just assume he has to have a license to make the funnel cakes, a permit of some kind. What if I was to forge for myself a permit saying that I am permitted to make funnel cakes? Is that a big deal? Does that rise to the level of criminality? Someone should be thrown in prison? I think you would probably say no, maybe a small fine or something like that, but it's no big deal. It's funnel cakes. Okay, you put too much sugar on it. Okay. Now, what if I did the same thing and pretended to be an airline pilot and I didn't know how to fly? What if I forged all the documents I had to forge and I got on a commercial airliner with 300 lives on board and I didn't know how to take off, I didn't know how to land, I didn't know how to fly at all? Would you agree that that is a crime? Probably, right? Because of the importance of the job, because you have other people's lives in danger. Now let's discuss Joe Biden and the latest cancer diagnosis, which is awful, right? In case you've been under a rock, over the weekend, it came out that Joe Biden has prostate cancer, late stage prostate cancer, terminal. Joe Biden's going to die from this. Now, let's pause on this for a moment. As many of you know, I recently lost my father. 6-7 months ago, I lost my dad. What many people do not know is before we lost him, he had prostate cancer. No, that's not what eventually took him. It was his heart, but prostate cancer. So I actually got familiar with this whole process. And do you know how he found out he had prostate cancer? Shows up in your blood. I'm not going to bore you with medical things here, but your basic blood work will tell you there's something wrong, better go get a checkup. This is basic stuff. It's not like he went to some super advanced doctor. Family doctor took one look at his blood work. Hey, we need to get your prostate checked. It's obvious. It's in there. It's in the blood. Now, that was my father. He knew he had prostate cancer, and he found out so far ahead of time that he was able to successfully treat it. My father never went to the doctor. Couldn't get him to the doctor. Once a year, if you're lucky, he'll go get his blood work done. Joe Biden was president of the United States of America. Joe Biden, as a requirement, as a basic requirement, got checkups all the time. He didn't get to do the stubborn, I'm not getting my blood work done thing all the time. Now, let me tell you something else I discovered about prostate cancer. Prostate cancer, I'm not going to be dismissive of it, and gentlemen, be aware of this, but prostate cancer takes a long time to get to the place where it's in your bones and terminal. That's not checkup number one. It's not like something horrible like pancreatic cancer where you're fine and then one day you find out it's stage 4 and you'll be dead in a month. Prostate cancer doesn't work in that way. It takes a long time as it slowly but surely embeds itself into your body. If Joe Biden now has prostate cancer and it's terminal and it's in his bones, that means Joe Biden very likely had prostate cancer terminal for the entirety of his presidency. Listen to this, doctor.
It's very unusual to hear that someone has prostate cancer where they're annually being followed up. And the fact that we just find it at a Gleason 9 is just pretty much unheard of in this day and age of medicine. Well, most likely he had prostate cancer for a long time, and aggressive prostate cancer such as this at age 80 grows over a long period of time. I mean, usually it takes from the first diagnosis of prostate cancer to spread would take 5 to 10 years. I think there's definitely evidence that he probably knew about this for a while.
Well, let's go ahead and get past all the probablys and the maybes, and he should have. Joe Biden and Joe Biden's team knew that he had prostate cancer. They knew for a fact it was terminal, and they lied and covered it up. Combine that with his mental decline. At what point in time does the cover up of Joe Biden's physical and mental health rise to a crime? I would say we're far past that. And of course, they lied and covered it up. Joe Biden's dementia brain couldn't keep him from actually spilling the beans. This is a clip from 2022.
That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer. And why can't, for the longest time, Delaware had the highest cancer rate in the nation.
I've got cancer. Of course they knew he had cancer. This isn't some recluse living in the mountains, never seeing the doctor. This is the president of the United States of America. He wakes up every morning and gets his blood work done. They knew it. And I'll tell you something else. Not only did they know it, they made a decision about it. I remember the conversation with my father. See, prostate cancer is one of those things. You can choose to treat it in different ways. None of those ways are pleasant or wonderful. Or, I remember this conversation like it was yesterday, some people choose to not. I remember the conversation with my father. He said, doctor flat out told him, some people choose just to die from it because it takes so long to die from it, 5 to 10 years. They say, hey, I'd rather keep my quality of life 5, 10 years and then check out of here. I believe the President of the United States of America, the former President of the United States of America, not only knew he had prostate cancer, he either was getting secret treatments or chose to just give up all treatments, hoping he could survive before he died in the White House. Again, I ask, at what point does this rise to a criminal level that this man pretended to be a functional adult with the most important job in the world for 4 years, much more important than the airline pilot we discussed just a couple minutes ago. And when you combine that with the gall these people had as they were covering up the fact the president had terminal cancer, these exact same people, in fact, Joe Biden himself saw fit while he was lying about his health, mental and physical, to get on camera in front of the American people and scold you about the medical steps you should take.
Over 200 million Americans have gotten at least one shot. We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin, and your refusal has cost all of us.
That human being, while he looked you in the eye and told you he was losing patience with you because you didn't want an experimental vaccine, that human being was dying of cancer and he knew it and he lied to you about it. These people, Joe Biden himself, are freaking deeply evil. And I hope Joe Biden, I really genuinely do, hope he gets right with God before he finally passes away. And no, David Axelrod, no, we're not going to use this to move on from what you people did.
His medical condition now, his announced medical condition now, do you believe that silences or delays a lot of conversations about his, last year and a half of his presidency for now?
Yeah, well, I think those conversations are going to happen, but they should be more muted and set aside for now as he's struggling through this.
Why does David Axelrod want us to just move on? Hey, I know we covered up everything about Joe Biden, but he has cancer. Let's pray for his family. We're just time to move on. Why does David Axelrod want that? Do you think it's out of some deep, abiding love for Joe Biden? Do you think David Axelrod cried himself to sleep last night when he found out Joe Biden was dying? No, David Axelrod and the other communists in the media and the Democrat Party want to use this as an excuse to move on because they are all dirty criminals who kept a human being who wasn't even functional as president of the United States, and they did it so them and all other communist friends could rip this country apart while Joe Biden pretended to be president. No, we will not use this as an opportunity to move on. We will use this as an opportunity to hopefully drag criminals out into the public square where we have public trials and send them to prison. This has to rise to a crime, otherwise crimes do not exist. If you can lie to get a man and keep a man as president of the United States of America, then there are no other crimes as far as lying about your profession, because nothing is more important than that. And look, we should have all known that the media, the Democrats, were lying. We should have known it because you can tell when communists are lying. Do you know how you can tell when communists are lying? When they choose the exact same line and they're extremely bold about it. So when they all start saying the same extremely bold thing, you know for a fact it's a lie. Remember, credit to Tom Elliott for putting this together. Remember all of this? This is how we knew he was in bad shape.
Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden is the best Biden ever.
I was sitting, 2 feet from him across the table, and he was, intense.
Have trouble walking sometimes? Yeah, so did FDR. He wanted GD war.
But he's totally focused. He's very sharp.
He's older. That doesn't mean that he is unfit, and there's a lot of ageism there.
Now, this age attack, this obsession by the right,
Age is an asset.
He showed exactly how with it he is.
the flip side of this coin is that he has a tremendous amount of wisdom and experience.
It's the Hillary's email. All they have is that he's old.
You have Wall Street Journal running a horribly sourced piece saying that Biden is unfit.
Dubious Wall Street Journal report about the president's acuity.
Shoddy story by the Wall Street Journal questioning Biden's mental fitness.
Wall Street Journal story had a lot of flaws, as you said. But Sinclair, they didn't do any original reporting. They didn't follow up. They didn't do any work.
And now, remember the Robert Hur stuff? Joe Biden had to sit down with this special counsel because he illegally had classified documents, and Robert Hur sits down with Joe Biden. Remember, there was this huge cover-up about the audio tapes. Oh, no, you don't need to hear those. And remember, the White House edited the transcripts. We had to take some words out. This was Joe Biden talking about his son's death.
Where did you keep papers that related to those things that you were actively working on?
Well, I don't know. This is what, 2017, 18, that area?
Yes, sir.
Remember, in this time frame, my son is either been deployed or is dying. And so, what month did Bo die? May 30th, 2015. Was it 2015 he died?
Maybe 2015.
I think it's 2015.
I'm not sure the months are, but I think that was.
Yeah.
That's right, Mr. President.
4 years. Think about what Donald Trump just finished. That big trip overseas, get on Air Force One, has to go meet with all these world leaders, forge these huge trade deals, relationships, guide America's foreign policy. I don't care whether you love Trump or hate him. That's not the point. Think about what he just did physically and mentally. For 4 years, we sent that overseas. Can you imagine what other countries thought about us when Joe Biden was walking out of those meetings? Again, I will ask, when does this rise to the level of criminality? If I forged that airline pilot's license, you would want me thrown in prison for putting the lives of 300 people in danger. Who goes to prison because of Joe Biden? Somebody should. Somebody should. Maybe we should start with his wife. This heartless witch, not only did she know and cover it up for 4 years, Joe Biden has prostate cancer in his bones. It will kill him. It will kill him before too long. And Jill Biden wanted him, fought tooth and nail, so he could run again for president of the United States. And as early as last week, she had him on The View.
We found ourselves unable to deal with a lot of just basic issues, and which I won't go into in the interest of time. And so we went to work, and we got it done. And one of the things that Well,
Well, and
talking too long.
Alyssa, you know, one of the things I think is that the people who wrote those books were not in the White House with us. And they didn't see how hard Joe worked every single day. I mean, he'd get up, he'd put in a full day, and then at night I'd be in bed, you know, reading my book, and he was still on the phone reading his briefings, working with staff. I mean, it was nonstop. It's the White House, being president is not like a job. It's a lifestyle. It's a life that you live. You live it 24 hours a day.
Her husband's sitting beside her dying, and she's on national television, dressed him up in a suit so she could go yell about people complaining about his health. We seriously were led for 4 years by the most evil, soulless freaking demons on the planet. I'm just blown away by the whole thing. All that may have made you uncomfortable, but I am right. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're gonna start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.